Very warm welcome. It's quite a sunny day today here in Ireland, which generally doesn't happen. So we went for a walk and we came back after around 45 minutes. And just after I came back, I started this meeting. It's great to be in association with all the members of Personal Growth Leaders. We have been meeting, this is our 61st meeting. So we have been constantly meeting every week, and it's a real pleasure to be in association in the company of all of you so that we can learn every week from each other and grow. That is what personal growth is. There is a little bit of contradiction in the term personal growth, because personal growth, of course, it happens for each person, but it also happens in conjunction with our interaction with people when we learn from people. So it is not just personal growth, it is actually interpersonal relationship and learning from the interpersonal relationships. So with that, I would like to hand over a virtual gavel to the Toastmaster of the meeting, Satya. Huge round of applause.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President, DTM Somesh. Good day to you, dear Toastmasters. Today's theme is stories will set you free. As you all know, stories are a great way to connect with people. It's many a times it's inspirational, motivational, and often it changes the way of your life, way of your thinking. I remember some time back, my wife and I were traveling. I was taking her to her parental home, about 100 miles away, on a train. The train was completely packed. A lot of people were there. Some people were standing. Some students were reading books. Many were there holding mobile phones. We suddenly noticed as the train started moving, there was this two people sitting on the side near the window, a father and son. A father, an elderly person, about 60, 65-year-old, and the son about 30 years old. Strangely, the son was behaving quite oddly, like a young child, in fact. He was looking out the window and calling out to his dad, "Dad, look at that window, look at the trees moving, look at that mountain, look at the raindrops falling on my hand." He stretched out his hand outside the window. He was quite cheerful and shouted loudly, yelling loudly. The other passengers, though there was a lot of chattering happening around the coach, but still some of them felt disturbed. One of the guys was standing near this old man and the son, in fact, accosted the old man, said, "Why don't you control your son? He's behaving very oddly. Maybe he requires some psychiatric help." The old man got offended with little tears in his eyes, said, "Sir, please don't feel bad about him. We just now came out from the hospital and he is born blind. He was born blind. He got his eyes operated. He's able to see just today about the nature and environment. Unfortunately, I lost my other son, younger son, in a motorcycle accident a couple of months back. He had donated his eyes to my second son, and that's how he's able to see. That is my kind of position. I'll tell him, don't worry." So many times we don't realize what is the kind of a situation of somebody else's life, and we go and talk to them rudely, which we should not be doing. Such like stories, incidents, gives an emotional touch, tells us a lot of life lessons. With this, now I call upon the grammarian of the day, Anvita Hegde, to give the word of the day.
Today's word of the day is narrative, which means spoken or written account of a connected event. It can also mean a story. It was derived from a Latin word narrare, which means to tell. Synonyms of this word is account or chronicle. An example of usage could be, Tia Modi's story was a gripping narrative. Back to Tia Modi.
Thank you, Toastmaster Anvita Hegde. Narrative. I would urge upon all of the Toastmasters this evening today to include that word in your speeches. Moving on, let us go for the prepared speeches. That's all that we have today. We don't have table topics as part of our regular third week of the month. Typically, we have this kind of an arrangement. I'll call upon the evaluator of the first speaker. Musa is there. Musa Sabaria is there. Oh, sorry. Then Sanjeev Sharma, Sanjeev Kumar Sharma to suggest to us what is the speaker is going to talk about.
Yeah, so good afternoon, good morning, everyone. So today, Kaushal is going to speak on from the pathways, the visionary communication, label 2, project 3, and the title is Introduction to Toastmasters Monitoring. It's a 5 to 7 minute speech. So just to talk about the summary of the speech, the present speech is about a time when being proteges share the impact and importance of having mentor, avoid reporting on the content of this project. So this is what the Kaushal speech objective. So now I would like to pass the virtual gavel to Kaushal to start his speech. Over to you, Kaushal. Thank you.
Fellow Toastmasters, I work at the Environmental Protection Agency, which is an agency of the United States federal government. We are a large organization that believes strongly in mentoring. I've been fortunate enough to participate in 3 mentoring programs as a protege. I'm now going to describe each of these mentoring programs and my experience in it. The first mentoring program was simply called the Mentoring Program. In this program, a group of supervisors volunteered to serve as mentors. EPA employees who wanted to be mentees applied and were matched with mentors. Over the course of a few months, the mentors and mentees got together on their own schedule and talked about whatever they wanted to talk about. I was paired with the director of a division that I did not work in. It was great to be able to talk extensively with a high-level manager and with someone from a different division. It helped me get a better perspective of the opportunities at the Environmental Protection Agency. Also, by a lucky coincidence, this high-level manager is somebody I had actually worked with before. He used to work in the private sector, and I had worked with him as a regulatory counterpart. So we already had a good professional relationship based on mutual respect. It was great to be able to continue that relationship through the mentoring program. So that was the first program, simply the mentoring program. The second program was different. It was called Flash Mentoring. In Flash Mentoring, you get just 1 hour-long mentoring session in which you talk with 3 different mentors, 20 minutes per mentor. You can talk about whatever you want, but because the session is so short, it's good to have specific issues to discuss. I used this opportunity to ask for feedback on my career development plan. I also gave my mentors a narrative about a tough situation I was facing at work and asked how they would handle it. Years later, I participated in Flash Mentoring, not as a mentee, but as a mentor. And they had changed the program so that each mentee would now talk to 10 different mentors during the course of an hour. That's 10 different perspectives. The third mentoring program I participated in was part of a larger program called the Mid-Level Leadership Development Program. This is a selective program that just accepts 24 applicants every couple of years, and usually about 3 times that many people apply. I got into the program just as I was about to step into a new leadership role at EPA. So this was the perfect time to gain some leadership training. The Mid-Level Leadership Development Program includes seminars such as the 5 Choices course from Franklin Covey. It also includes a group project in which you help a manager create a solution for actual use. And it has 8 hours of mentoring. You can spend those 8 hours with one person or split them up among several. And you can choose any manager at EPA as your mentor or mentors, assuming that they have the time. I spent those 8 hours with 4 different managers. For some of those hours, we simply talked. At other times, I shadowed the manager during a meeting. Here are some questions that I asked my mentors. What is a typical workday like for you? Do you ever find yourself managing upwards? What role does personality play in leadership? How do you manage your time? What do you think are valuable skills and qualities in a leader? What are some ways in which you've improved as a leader, and how did you make those improvements? What are some ways in which you would like to improve as a leader? How does emotional intelligence weigh in your decision-making? What are your preferred methods of communication? What is your least preferred method of communicating? Can you tell me about how you resolve a conflict? How do you work with people of varying levels of education and technical ability? When you have an employee that is not performing to expectations, what do you do? What is your career development plan? How do you manage stress? How do you provide encouraging feedback and celebrate success? How do you handle a situation in which you have to tell staff to do something you don't think is right, but your manager wants it done? Do you have any networking practices, or do you participate in any professional organizations? Have you attempted to institute change in the organization? And if so, how did it turn out? Ostensibly, these are uncomfortable and hard-hitting questions, but I never met a mentor who was unwilling to answer them. All 3 programs I went through, the mentoring program, flash mentoring, and the mid-level leadership development program, were great experiences. They helped me gain a broader perspective of the work we do at our agency and see my problems in a different way. I got to network with various leaders. Even today, whenever I work with one of the people who mentored me, it goes well because we have already established a good relationship based on trust. I hope wherever you work, your organization has a good mentoring program. And if it doesn't, start one. Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, DTM Samesh. That was an excellent narrative about mentoring. I learned something new on flash mentoring. Very well articulated. Now, before I call the next speaker, let me call the evaluator of DTM Samesh. That would be Rosiana, Toastmaster Rosiana.
Thank you, TMOD. Okay, the purpose of this project is for the member to present a speech on any topic, receive feedback, and apply the feedback to a second speech. The purpose of this speech is for the member to present a speech and receive feedback from the evaluator. Thank you. Back to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Rosiana. The speakers, DTM Somesh is speaking from the pathway, engaging humor, level 1, speech 4, evaluation and feedback. Over to DTM Somesh.
How many of you think it is possible to please everyone? Is it possible to please everyone? No. Okay, I think we are starting on the right note. There is a saying which says that be who you are, say what you feel, and do what you want to do. Because those who mind don't matter, and those who matter don't mind. Let's try and understand this quote a little bit. What does it mean? Those who mind don't matter, and those who matter don't mind. So people who know us very well, they are the people who matter to us. And when the people who matter to us, if they see us doing something, more often than not, they will encourage us. They will help us to grow. So I wanted to share with you one story, which probably some of you might have heard. This is a story about a man, his son, and his donkey. They are going to a market. You probably would have heard about this story. The three of them are walking to the market. They walk through the countryside, and a countryman passes through them and says, "You fools, what is a donkey for but to ride upon?" He says to the father, but he's saying to the son as well. So what does the man do? He puts the boy on the donkey, and they keep walking to the market. They keep walking. The boy is on the donkey. The man is walking. And then soon they pass a group of men walking. And one of the person says, "See that lazy youngster. He lets his father walk while he rides." So now the people are commenting that this is wrong also, that the son is on the donkey and father is walking. So what does the man do? The man orders the boy to get off the donkey, and he actually sits on the donkey himself. And then they keep walking. They keep walking to the market where they are going. And while they are going, there are two women who are walking, and one of the women says, "Shame on that lazy lout to let his poor little son trudge along." So now they're saying that why is this old man letting the young person to walk? So now they have tried two things. Actually, this is the third thing. First, all the three were walking. Then the son went on the donkey. That was wrong. Then the father went on the donkey. That was wrong as well. So then they thought, okay, let's try one more thing. So both the father and son sat on the donkey. So now they started moving. They were going to the market, and then a group of people again, they said, "What is these two people doing? They are overlading this poor donkey." Now this is a fourth situation now. So now they started thinking, what should I do? And then they put the donkey on a pole, and then they tied his leg. And one father was taking one side and the son was taking one side. And they were reaching a bridge, and the donkey started feeling bad. The rope came out of the leg, and the donkey drowned in the water, the bridge. So what is the moral of the story? The moral of the story is, if we try to adjust our direction according to what people are saying, we are never going to reach our destination. So it's really very important that we are who we want to be. A great example is that of Mahatma Gandhi. So when he came back to India from South Africa, he was maltreated in South Africa because his color of skin was different. And he actually started a movement in South Africa, which was against this discrimination, racial discrimination. He came to India and he actually started wearing the dress of a farmer, which was just two clothes, basically a small cloth down and a small cloth up, nothing else. So he was walking like a farmer with very like simple living, high thinking. And he did not care about what people would say in terms of his dress or in terms of what he wanted to do in his life. So, and that is what is told about Mahatma Gandhi as well. Be the change that you want to see in the world. So if we want some particular change to happen in the world, we should be the change. And how can we be that change? When we understand that, do what you want to do, say what you want to say, because those who mind don't matter, and those who matter don't mind. Over to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you, DTM Samesh. That excellent speech. I recollect having read about this story in my childhood days at the school. Interesting story, interesting message. Now let us move on to the third and final speech of Teresa, Toastmaster DTM Teresa. Before that, I would like to call upon the evaluator, John. Over to John.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster of the evening. I've just put my donkey over there so it won't fall in the water. We will now start. Teresa is Persuasive Influence, Level 2, Project 3, Introduction to Toastmaster Mentoring. Teresa will present a speech about a time when being a protege, share the impact and importance of having a mentor, but avoid reporting on the content of the project. Back to you, Toastmaster of the evening.
Thank you, John. The title of Teresa's speech is Closing the Gap. The duration is 5 to 7 minutes. Over to Teresa.
Thank you very much, Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters. What have you experienced as a protege in your Toastmaster journey or in your world journey? In what ways have you been influenced, guided, or even given direction by a mentor? Can you think of a word, perhaps, that might describe your experience with your mentor? Or perhaps you have a powerful narrative that will tell how your mentor closed the gap for you to help you achieve your goal. Toastmasters, I would like you to think about a present goal, either Toastmasters or life goal that you're working on now. And I want you to think about where you are right now. And we'll call that point A. And then I want you to think about where you want to go. And we're going to call that point B. And if you're thinking in between point A and point B, this part is called the gap. Now we know that success is never a straight line. There's always ups and downs or curves or whatever, and sometimes big curves downwards, called frustration often. And if you are experiencing a challenge right now from getting from point A to point B, I know you are trying the try and try again method. And it's probably not working. And also, it takes a lot of time. What you can do is talk to your mentor, or if you don't have one, grab a mentor, and that person will help you close the gap easier for jumping over obstacles and challenges. Did you know that your mentor probably has already done that particular project or has had that experience in life? You will get new insight and new eyes to focus on where you want to go. For years, I've been a student of Napoleon Hill, success guru of the 1900s. I read all his books, followed his best advice, but he did have all the answers, and a lot of people were able to achieve success. But I needed more hands-on. I needed a little tap on my back every once in a while. In the past year, I've been working with success coach Dean Graziosi and his team of coaches, Raf and Zach. Again, I learned so much from them, but not the little tap on the back. There were so many courses, and there were so many people in the course, I was just a postage stamp. Last week, I took a UPW, Unleash the Power with Tony Robbins. It was great. However, no tap on the back, but I did get, make your move. Anytime I needed a little uplift or a little understanding of where I want to go next. In the past year, my mentor, Anne, has given me many, many taps on the back. She has shown me through the president's journey. I've been a president several times, but she has added to my experience and to my success of being the best president that I can. Anne has helped me close the gap. Do you need a tap on the back? I am going to challenge you to engage a mentor who can help you close the gap from getting from point A to point B. In closing, did you know that most people, if you ask them, will say they are striving for excellence? Would you agree? However, did you know that in today's digital world, excellent efforts only give good results? And of course, that achiever who is striving for excellence is definitely going to use the try and try method. But what happens? Frustration, poor efforts arise. In our digital world, one must strive to be outstanding if they are going to achieve the levels that they need. Invest in a mentor, and your returns will be huge, and you will close the gap quicker and with more success and happiness. Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Teresa. A great narrative again on mentoring. With that, we conclude our prepared speeches session, which included 2 speeches on mentoring and 1 on a donkey story, which resonated very well with me. Now we move on to the next session, the evaluation session. Before that, I would request the timer to tell me what the time taken by the speakers, please.
Good day to my dear friends. Let me narrate the timing for tonight. Toastmaster Kaushal, 6 minutes and 45 seconds. Toastmaster Somesh, 6 minutes and 25 seconds. And Toastmaster Tessa, 6 minutes and 51 seconds. Over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Fatima. Well done. Now, may I invite the general evaluator, Anvita Hegde, to take us through the next session.
Thank you, Toastmaster Satya. First up, I would like to invite our evaluator 1, Sanjeev, to provide his evaluation report. Over to you, Sanjeev.
Yeah, thanks, Anvita. I think Kaushal has left this meeting. Just now I got a message. Although I try my best to evaluate his speech. So I will start with certain KPI which I have considered as a part of his speech. So I will start with the impact. So I can say the narrative of the speech was very nice. He started very well and it engaged the customer at the beginning. So that's created an impact. The overall impact was very nice. Then he started with the three different type of mentoring. He has explained it in a very well manner. So opening was very nice. Then structure of overall structure was what I find is very good. And also the closing part was also fantastic. At the before closing the speech, he has just given a summary of what all he has gone through as a part of his speech. So in terms of body language, he has a good body language, posture, and hand movement. He has used the entire space for to demonstrate his experience. Basically, he was trying to narrate his experience. So it was nice. Voice clarity was also nice. Although I would suggest some improvement area. The one is the voice. The voice was he should practice some voice, which was not so much. The tone was not so much aligned what it's supposed to be, and also the smile. During the speech, I find the smile he was little missing. At the end of the speech, I found he smiled, but the next he should take care of these two points. So that's all from my end from the speech evaluation. Thank you.
Thank you, Sanjeev. Please give him a big round of applause. I like the way you opened your evaluation. It was different. You said that you're going to start with the important KPIs of his speech, and then you went into the details. You covered almost all aspects of his speech. You commented on the opening, the closing, and even the structure. Moreover, you pointed out what you liked in each of these three. I just have one suggestion for you. When you're giving suggestion, you can be a bit specific by giving more examples. In this case, you said that vocal variation could have been improved. How can he improve it? In what places? So there you could have commented a bit. For example, you could have said that he could have included a conversation between his high-level manager and himself to bring in some vocal variety, because he mentioned in the beginning that his first mentor was his high-level manager who told him about different opportunities available in his division. So rather than using his own voice, he could have told it in the manager's voice. So you could have given specific examples. Other than that, you have covered all aspects of his speech. Next up, I would like to invite evaluator 2, Rosie, to provide your evaluation report.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator, dear Toastmaster, and especially distinguished Toastmaster Somesh. You started by asking us a question. That's a great way to start. I like that. Your narrative was, is it possible to please everyone? Be you who you are. Do you do what you want to do? Those who mind don't matter, and go on, so on. So this is really a great way of storytelling, so that you can relate to the message that you want to send. And we got that message very clear. And that message was the story of the donkey, the man, and the son. And in the end, the four stories tell you, you try to adjust our direction to what people are saying, we will never reach our destination. And you also gave example of Mahatma Gandhi wearing a dress of a farmer, walking like a farmer. He didn't care what people would say. And you give another beautiful quote, which was, be the change you want in the world. Be who you want to be and say what you want to say. So this point of improvement, probably just get carried away with the ISTT, the competition, the contest just now. So they were saying that if you're giving speech, probably no background, and then standing up. So that is the normal thing. But if it is not going for a contest, I think all good and fantastic. And maybe some, because there's a dialogue, there's some, a donkey, man, and a boy. Maybe you can have some dialogue to make it more interesting, probably. So there's 2 points of improvement. In conclusion, I love you started asking us the questions and ending with the same phrase. You prove that we cannot please everyone. You prove and enhance this idea with a great story of a donkey, a man, and his son, which end in tragedy. In that donkey died. But it's a very good and powerful lesson for all of us. Impact. And keep it up, and I hope to enjoy your speech again. Thank you. Back to you, Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you, Rosie. Please give her a big round of applause. You were very specific throughout your evaluation, because you mentioned that you liked his opening because of the questions he asked, and you liked his speech because of the messages in his speech. For example, like be who you are, do what you do, and you even commented on the real life example. Even while giving the suggestions, also you were very specific. You said how to bring in dialogues and enhance the vocal variety, add some drama, and you commented on the background. So you were very specific throughout. And you also showed great observational skills too, because you observed how was his opening and how was it connected to the conclusion. Overall, it was very well done. Maybe you can consider summarizing all the points at the end, because if you participate in evaluation contest, there is 15 marks for summary. And I know that you are interested in competition. So maybe you can practice summarizing at the end, even in normal club evaluations. Other than that, it was a very well done evaluation. Next up, I would like to call evaluator 3 to provide his evaluation. John, screen is yours.
Thank you very much, General Evaluator. Well done, Teresa. I like the way you started off. There was, you engage the audience because it's something the audience knows about, because you talked about the Toastmasters journey. And you give us 3 specific areas: influence, guided, and given direction is what you get from a mentor. You give those. And then you went into point A and point B and the gap in between, and sometimes the frustration that they have between that gap. So you were given us, as you were going through your speech, the areas that we've got to look at when we're a mentor. You did have a good structure, and I'm going to come to something that you could improve later on. There was structure there. You started off with a structure at the beginning, you went into the body, and then you came to the end. and you gave us a challenge at the end. So you did have a call to arms at the end. So that was very well done on your structure going through. Your tonal variety was good. You emphasized it when you wanted to emphasize. Your tone changed a lot of times there. There was some quotes like a tap on the back. I'd prefer mine on the sink, but you like a tap on the back. So we can see where you were coming on the tap of the back. So it's just if somebody didn't know English, they might be thinking something completely different. That's my joke gone. And then you're talking about the try and try again method. So there was a lot of information in the body as well as you came to the end. Now, some areas that I'd like you to look at. When you came to the end to start your summary, you started saying in closing, okay? You don't have to say summary, you don't have to say in closing. It actually goes through, and you find some of the better speakers and the good stuff, they won't say anything like that because evaluators will understand this is going into the closing because they can hear the summary coming up of what you're going to say in the summary. The other thing, you started with a challenge, but the challenge was something like 30 seconds before you actually finished. And you actually carried on a little bit longer than I thought, because I thought, oh, she's coming to the end, the challenge, the call to arms, I challenge you. And then you went on a little bit more, yeah, which again wasn't really necessary. So be careful if you're saying, I'm going to give you a challenge, and then boom, it's a sentence and you're practically finished and you're out the door. So very good structure, very good information. I enjoy the information, the Toastmaster journey. It was with all of us in the room, so you got our attention. Just look at those 2 points in the end, the closing and the length of time that you are finishing off, the call to arms, the challenge that you put out. Okay. Back to you, General Evaluator.
Please give John a big round of applause. John's evaluation was very well structured. He had an opening body conclusion, and then he summarized all the points. Even in the body, he covered many points such as audience engagement, structure, tonal variety. He even told a joke in between. And your analytical skills came out beautifully in your suggestions. You told about avoiding, telling, closing, summarizing, and especially the next part was very analytical. You mentioned about the challenge part, and then you explained in detail why it was not necessary. That was very well done. I do not have any suggestions for you. Next up, I would like to call our timer Fatima to give us evaluator times.
Hi, ladies and gentlemen, here I am again to narrate the timing for you. Toastmaster Sanjeev, 2 minutes and 16 seconds. Toastmaster Rosie, 2 minutes and 39 seconds. And my love of the heart, John Kadi, 3 minutes and 26 seconds on the dot. Over to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Fatima. Please give her a big round of applause. All the speakers and evaluators of today were well within the time. Next up, I would like to call our counter, DTM Rikisu, to provide his counter report.
Thank you for allowing me to serve as counter at the international level for the first time. I really admire the level of perfection in this meeting as compared to the meetings in my country. I detected nearly no speech clutches except just a few. I think I might have heard one from Satya, Toastmaster of the evening, one R from Russia, repeated words, the from Russia, and also repeated words the from Sanjeev, and a couple of from Sanjeev as well. Thank you for allowing me to take this role. As for the others, like Somesh, Anvita, Kausha, Teresa, John. Let's give them a round of applause. Perfect.
Thank you for your detailed report, Rikisu. Please give him a big round of applause. Coming to my grammarian report, each and every speaker of today has used the word of the day narrative. Kaushal, Toastmaster Satya, Teresa, Fatima, Sanjeev, Rosie, everybody used. Even Somesh also used the word story in his speech multiple times, which is a synonym of narrative. So everybody have used it. Well done. Now I'll come to the good usages of the English language. Flash mentoring. Those who mind don't matter. Simple living, high thinking. Success is never a straight line. It has curves called as frustration. Try and try again method. Mentors will help us close the gap. And a metaphor which Teresa used, I was a postage stamp. These are the good usages of today. Now I'll come to the general evaluation. Today we started the meeting on time. And Toastmaster Satya narrated a very emotional story of two people sitting in a train, a father and a son. And this was a story with a twist. Because when he told that he was 30 years old, yet he was admiring the raindrops, even I thought that probably something is wrong with him. He's mad or something. But then he gave a twist to it by telling that he got vision on the same day. That is why he's appreciating everything. It was a good emotional story with a twist. I just have one suggestion for you. You used two voices, one for the son and also for the father. And there was a third character in your Tia Modi speech, which was a man who told that the son needs psychiatric care. Probably you could have used a vocal variation there too, because it was a very emotional line. Probably you could have used a taunting kind of tone over there. Other than that, your tone was good throughout your speech. Only in this area, you could have included some bit of vocal variation. Your fillers was good. You were encouraging each and every speaker by telling that it was a gripping narrative or it was an excellent speech. You were basically encouraging them. It was well done. I have come to the end of my general evaluation report. I would like to hand it over to our president. So no, I would like to hand it over to our Tia Modi Toastmaster Satya.
Thank you, G. That was an excellent evaluation session. I enjoyed it a lot. In fact, the entire session I enjoyed. The stories that were woven today, very interesting. They say a good story, if you listen to it, it increases your dopamine, oxytocin, and endorphins. All in all, it helps a lot. It motivates you, it generates lots of interest in the entire speech or a narrative that is being told to you, you're going to listen to. With that, I complete my Tia Modi role. I hand over back to the president for his concluding speech.
Thank you very much, Satya, for doing the role professionally, and each and everyone here. The 61st meeting of Personal Growth Leaders. And thank you so much for continuing to strive, continuing to come every week. I think this is a consistency is the key. I think whatever we do, if you're consistent in what we do, that really helps. They say that starting something is easy, but maintaining it is quite difficult. And that's what we are in that journey of maintaining our Personal Growth Leaders Club. And it's going, if you have looked at the discussions that have gone in our chat, there are some members who, due to various reasons, are not able to renew. So we have 9 members renewed. That's a huge round of applause. I think at least we are club in good standing. If 8 members, minimum 8 members renew, the club is in good standing. So at least we have passed that goal. There were 7 more members who should have renewed. Hopefully I'm expecting a few more renewals. So please do by 31st of March. So that will really be helpful. And then the next part is in terms of the new committee as well. So please do think about that. Come forward and think about taking the committee roles. I think we have couple of nominations at the moment, but we do need more nominations. The nomination for president is, we have president, we have VPPR, and we have secretary, but we don't have the other roles, VP, VPM, and a few other roles, treasurer and sergeant at arms. So please do consider taking the roles so that we can continue this journey of personal growth. And we have more people coming to us, and we have this family who are joining together in and going in one direction. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a great night, evening, day. Thank you so much.